D2 Word Life here with Rip Pile Driver Tides.
D2 broken voice and neck box.
And today we are reviewing your favorite SummerSlam, SummerSlam 1997.
No. It is your favorite. You're the one that picked this bullshit.
Oh, you know you loved this show.
We all know that you did.
Anyway, Riptide's favorite show, SummerSlam 97.
No.
Took place on August 3rd, 1997 in East Rutherford, New Jersey. August 3rd, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Doesn't that sound familiar? I think that was one of the dates in the same. I think August 3rd in East Rutherford, New Jersey was where one of the nights of SummerSlam this year took place. But this one took place at the Continental Airlines Arena with an attendance of 20,213 fans there. And the commentators were Vince McMahon, Jim Ross, and Jerry Lawler, and the ring announcer was Howard Finkel.
Yep.
So yeah, to start the show, they showed a video package, all in black and white, telling us the backstory of the main event between Bret Hart, Undertaker, and Michaels being the referee. Pretty much standard, stuff here. And then we got introduced by the commentators to the show, and then we go on to the first match of the night, which was a steel cage match between Hunter Hearst Helmsley, a.k.a. Triple H, with Chyna in his corner, taking on Mankind. And this steel cage match wasn't like the steel mesh that we see today. These were straight up bars. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, the shit where, it probably hurts more when you get slammed on it.
Yes.
And, and they say, there was no pinfalls or submissions in this one. The only way a competitor could win is by exiting out either over the top of the cage or through the door. Oh, yeah, through the door. Yeah, that really ticks off Jesse Ventura these days, doesn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, this feud all came about after the King of the Ring 97 finals. The Triple H won, or Hunter Helmsley won, whatever you want to call them. And then they had a one-on-one match against each other at In Your House, Canadian Stampede, which ended in a double countout, I believe, and they brawled all over the arena, thus setting up this match. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not going to run through this entire match, obviously, but right when the match starts, Triple H ran for the door immediately, or trying to get over the top immediately. Trying to do the quick escape, but Mankind or Mick Foley, whatever you want to call him, holds on to him, preventing that from happening. Can you imagine if that's how a cage match would end? Only like the heel just winning after freaking exiting the cage as soon as the bell rings. I'd be like, well, that's a 0 out of 5. Right?
Yeah.
Has a cage match ever ended like that? No. How come the heels always tried? Just because. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Mankind ended up beating Hunter down for a bit, then freaking Triple H got the upper hand, tried to climb out, but Mankind chucked him back in the middle of the ring. Yeah, and then freaking Mankind tried to put his head up against the cage, or through the cage, but yeah, looked kind of weird from there, especially when it came to, I think Triple H tried to rake Foley's face against the cage. It didn't really look good. because of the bars there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You could say he was bar facing.
Yes. At one point, Mankind actually locked in the Madam Claw on the freaking Triple H, but since they were near the cage, freaking China came in, reached through the bars, and choked Mankind with her belt there, right? Thus breaking that hold, which is completely legal because there's no disqualifications in cage matches, right? What?
He also threw Triple H at the same time after that. It knocked China off with Triple H.
Yeah, at some point. But yeah, this one, it's like, this one freaking Mankind was in control. He knocked, it's like, he knocked Triple H down with a clothesline, knocking him out. Mankind tried to climb the cage, at one point, only for China to climb up and nail him in the nuts. So you can say that China is a dick to Mankind's Sockos.
Yes.
And this was before the Mr. Socko gimmick, I know, but just roll with it, right?
Yep.
Following that, Triple H gave Mankind a freaking suplex off the top of the cage. That actually looked impressive, and it looked like it hurt. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a little bit later, Triple H freaking whip Mankind head first into the cage. Right? I'm like, how is he still conscious? Right? But you know, Mick Foley's tough. He could take that. And then he head whipped freaking Mankind into the cage a couple times afterwards, just trying to make sure he's down. Then Triple H tried to climb out over the cage, and I guess because I guess Triple H figured, okay, if Jesse Ventura's gonna watch this, he's gonna freaking be pissed off. I'm going for the door, so I'm going over the top. Right?
Yeah.
Ha ha, very funny, right? But either way, Mankind stopped him, but he got kicked off the cage by Triple H. Right?
Yeah.
But either way, Mankind got the upper hand and freaking brought Triple H back down into the ring anyway. And just a little bit later on in the match, Foley and Triple H were fighting on the side of the cage. And, well, Foley got the upper hand when Triple H ended up being crossed on the rope, so I guess you could say Mankind was a dick to Triple H games.
Yes.
Or Triple H's little King of Kings, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, Foley ended up crawling for the door, but then China freaking came, nailed freaking Foley right in the head with the cage door. Right?
Yep.
And I'm like, damn. And those are the steel bar doors too, so you know that fucking extra hurt there. Right? Of course, then China took the ref out for some reason. Back in the ring, Triple H attempted a pedigree, but Mankind reversed it and slingshot Triple H into the cage. Where China was hanging, and that's where those two butted, right? And China got knocked into the guardrail, or down to the floor, more specifically, right?
Well, he pushed her into the guardrail. She hit the guardrail when she went down.
But yeah, freaking shortly afterwards, freaking Mankind knocked Triple H down with that double arm DDT onto a chair that China threw into the ring. Right?
Yep.
And then Mankind then started climbing out of the cage. China, for some reason, was in the ring, tried to pull Triple H out, but she was like, oh, fuck it, and abandons that plan for some reason. So Mankind near the top of the cage, Mankind then stopped, went up to the top of the cage after pulling his mask off, ripped his shirt a bit, and then delivers a giant elbow from the top of the cage onto Triple H. Right? And all
Yeah.
the fans were chanting Superfly, considering that was Jimmy Snuka flying off the top of the cage inspired Foley to become a wrestler to begin with. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mankind got back up, freaking, started climbing the cage, and that's when China freaking tried to pull Triple H out of the cage door, but Mankind ended up touching the ground first before Triple H could, so therefore Mankind was declared the winner of this match.
Yes.
So, your thoughts on this cage from start to finish between Triple H and Mankind?
It was good.
I thought it was an alright opener to this show. I know I didn't go through everything, you just have to watch it for yourself. So, yeah, I thought this was one of the highlights of this show, or one of the good matches on this show, right?
Yeah.
Overall, and, did Triple H and Mick Foley have better matches against each other other than this one? Yes, obviously, but this was all right for what it was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, then after the match was over, Mankind was out on the ground after a brutal battle. And then the Dude Loves music started playing, so Mankind got up and just started dancing Dude Loves dance. The Dude Love dance out of the arena. Right?
Yeah.
And even the commentator was like, that's just Dude Love in Mankind's clothing. I'm like, it's the same person. Jeez, he plays two characters at that point. Because this was like, what, a couple weeks before we got introduced to about a month before we got introduced to the Cactus Jack character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm briefly just going to mention this. Yeah, we see, yeah, I think it was Todd Pengal out there, introduced the New Jersey crowd to the governor of New Jersey, who, at the time, she freaking made it to where sports entertainment events don't get to be taxed or whatever the hell it was. The fans booed her. Let's move on. Right? Because I don't want to talk about that shit.
The Headbangers, New Jersey's own.
Yeah, I really don't want to talk about this awkward political shit. And she was given a replica Winged Eagle title, who no one really cared. This is just Vince McMahon celebrating the fact that he doesn't have to pay extra money to run shows in New Jersey at that point.
Yeah.
The dang Scrooge McDuck that he was. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, and then the next match we see after that was Goldust with Marlene in his corner, a.k.a. Terry Runnels, taking on Brian Pillman. And even you said you forgot Brian Pillman wrestled at this show. I think this was Brian Pillman's only SummerSlam appearance. Also in his career. Oh yeah, and there's a special stipulation that if Pillman lost, he would have to wear a dress on Raw.
I forgot that what the stipulation was for the match, that he had to wear a dress.
Yeah, if he lost his match, he had to wear a dress the next night on Raw, which then the next night on Raw was ruled that he would have to wear a dress so the next time he won a match. So I'm like, what? They can't even keep up with their stipulations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And of course, during Goldust entrance, they revealed that there was a mannequin with one of Marlena's dresses sitting there waiting for Brian Pillman to lose.
Well, he also said, oh, you want me to get into your dress? You're going to have to wine and dine me first.
It's like, yep. Anyway, after both men made their entrances to start off this match, Pillman jumped on Goldust to begin with. I mean, he whips Goldust in the freaking He whips Goldust in the turnbuckle, but Goldust came back with a back elbow off the metal rope. Then he didn't do a freaking chin lock, headlock. He performed a lip lock on freaking Brian Pillman. Right?
Yes.
And I'm like, Goldust, this was back when he was still doing his weird, bizarro, androgynous character, but also morphing into what he would become like a year later without all that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a punch sent Brian out to the floor, and then Brian was just like, okay, I'm gonna freaking try to reload out here, like, analyze the situation. Couldn't take Brian Pillman seriously with some of that makeup on his lips, though. Courtesy of Goldust.
It was all over his face.
And all over his face, too. Right?
Yeah.
It's like back in the ring, Pillman whips Goldust in, and Nick gets a back up on Goldust. Then he's just started stalking Molina, but Goldust got the upper hand with a clothesline from the other side of the ring, from the other side of the ring on the outside. Right?
Yeah.
A little bit later on, freaking Pillman got the upper hand by suplexing Goldust, and then he went up to the top rope. And then freaking Goldust ended up being a dick to Brian Pillman as he crossed him on the top rope. Or you can say he was a dick to Pillman's loose cannons. I guess that also works. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then Marlena ended up blowing cigar smoke in freaking Pillman's face. But then Pillman got the upper hand when he used freaking Marlena as a distraction, only to DDT Goldust on the floor. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Goldust was back in control. Goldust got a clothesline and a couple of 2 counts on Pillman, but Goldust decided, you know what? This match needs a good old-fashioned chin lock. Lord knows, speaking of chin locks, we're going to be talking about one certain match I know you loved to see. Right?
Go fuck yourself.
Afterwards, Goldust went for a pinfall, but got a 2 count, and then Brian freaking recovered with a clothesline for a 2 count on Goldust. Right?
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk about the finish here. It's like Goldust went for a freaking bulldog, only for Pillman to freaking counter by shoving him off. Shoulder block by Goldust, but then Goldust went for a sunset flip, which, let's be honest here, looked botched, and it looked like they were struggling just to get the move complete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Pillman leans forward, Goldust fully under him. Looked like he had a Goldust in a pinning predicament, but then Marlena ended up nailing freaking Pillman in the face with her purse, which led to the 3 count for Goldust to win. Right?
It also looked like he was having Goldust, let's just say, finish him off.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, that's what you thought. Which...
I said it looked like.
But yeah, Goldust won this one due to outside interference. We would find out about a month later at the pay-per-view following this one, which was, I believe, Ground Zero. We found out that purse was loaded with a brick. It's probably what you had in the purse at this point. But that just means that Pillman had to wear a dress on Raw following this event. So yeah, your thoughts on this one?
It was decent, I guess.
Was it Goldust's best match? No. Was it Brian Pillman's best match? No. Brian Pillman's best work was in WCW, to be honest. Before all the injuries that he had at the time took place. Right?
Yeah.
To where he could actually, wrestle at his fullest potential and entertain. This was more like a grounded style and not too risque style that Brian Pillman had to deal with. Right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I thought it was all right. It wasn't no show steal or anything like that. Yeah. So, yeah, after the match, Pillman ended up beating up the mannequin, and rips up the dress that he had to wear the next night on Raw. While Goldust celebrated his victory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so after that match, we go to a tag team match, which featured the Legion of Doom taking on your boys, the Sister Fisters. I mean, the Godwins. Ugh. And the backstory to this was the Godwins were looking for revenge on the Legion of Doom because I guess Henry Godwin ended up breaking his neck after a botched Doomsday device a couple months beforehand, right? And then the Godwins would constantly interfere in LOD's matches, causing them matches and beating the hell out of them with buckets. And yes, the Godwins were freshly healed at this point, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the match started off with a brawling between all four competitors before the LOD sent both Godwins out over the floor. The crowd were massively behind LOD at this point, obviously. Animal missed a charge on Phineas, or Midian, as he would be later be known as. So he tags in Henry. So Phineas tagged in, Henry got the tag in. They go for it. The Godwins go for a double back body drop, but Animal got a double clothesline instead that sent them both out to the floor. Right?
Yeah.
I just too right. Yeah, and then later on, freaking Henry got back in, hit a couple of leg drops for a 2 count, I believe on Animal or Hawk. I can tell you this, I really wasn't into this one. Right?
Yeah.
Of course, Henry fought back, tagged in Phineas, and then Phineas nailed Hawk with a neck breaker. And then Hawk fights out of it, and each team tags out. So Animal and Henry were the legal man. Right?
Yeah.
But, Animal got control. The LOD was in control, but Henry fights back out of it. They show Captain Lou Albano in the crowd during this match for some reason, probably get the viewers' minds off how boring this tag match is. Right?
Yeah.
Back in, we see a body slam for a 2 count from Animal, I believe. And of course, Phineas got a freaking long bear hug in. Animal tried to fight out, but Henry got the tag, missed a clothesline, then continued to work on friggin' Animal. Anyway, near the end, Hot Tags came in. Hawk came in while Henry came in at the same time.
Yeah.
And that was followed up with a power slam and punches for both the Godwins at that point. And then a couple of clotheslines were hit on Phineas. Right? And a neck breaker. And then Henry got nailed with a neck breaker. I think, and then at one point, freaking the LOD tried to set Henry up for a Doomsday device, but Phineas came in, stopped that from happening. But either way, Hawk took care of Phineas by clotheslining him, and then Animal picked up Henry for a pile driver, which turned into a spike pile driver because Hawk freaking went up to the middle rope and spiked him. So it was a double team spike pile driver that got LOD the victory when Animal got the 3 count on Henry. Your thoughts on this one? I really wasn't into this tag match.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on it?
Generic to me.
To me, I really wasn't into it either. I mean, I've seen so many Godwin LOD matches that this one just felt like something they could have just done on Raw at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And do we really, and then after the tag match, do we really need to talk about this next one? This next segment that they did? I'm not sure I can. I don't care what my contract says. I don't even know if I even want to talk about this. Right?
You have to do it.
Okay, fine. At the time, they were doing $1 million freaking giveaway chance for finalists with Ted Pettengill awkwardly freaking calling people on the phone too. Oh yeah, and Sonny and Sable are up there as well on the talking. I guess the $1 million was in this casket at ringside.
No, they weren't just they were holding up
the damn
the phone numbers, and he was kind of being a pervert and just looking at their boobs and saying, "Oh, bend down lower. Stop moving."
yeah, stop moving, and it was funny hearing freaking this number is no longer available. Oh, and the people who did answer got the wrong key to open this casket up. The two finalists there, they tried with the numbers they picked. Those didn't work. I think it was a third key that revealed to open the casket. I'm like, $1 million my last. Look at all those ones that are stacked. All right.
It was $1 million in ones.
And one of the contestants got a hug from Sonny. I'm just like, and I thought to myself, oh, great, thanks a lot. Now he has to go freaking check himself for herpes. And that's how this segment ended. Yes, really.
Really?
Yes, really.
Really?
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 Okay, Miz. You know I had to slip that joke in there. Right?
The thing is that, and the fucking number 3 key was the one that had the $1 million in it. I would have picked 3 and I would have went, yeah, I win. Now I'm a millionaire.
Be like, no, after taxes, you're only a 500,000-aire.
No, they were giving it away, so that's tax free.
So yeah, what a waste of time. I didn't give a fuck about this little giveaway segment that nobody got. Anyway, what a waste of time. I'm like, 7 minutes, we could have squeezed at least one more match in that time. Right? Since I think only like maybe two or three of these matches I think 3 of these matches only went past the 10-minute mark anyway. All right?
Probably.
We could have at least squeezed one more match instead of this fucking contest BS that they were doing at the time.
They had to have they were doing the contest that ended at SummerSlam.
Oh, I know. But anyway, after that waste of time, we go on to the European Championship match, which was your favorite match of the night. It saw the British Bulldog defending against Ken Shamrock.
No, that was not my favorite match of the night.
Yes, it was, and you know it.
No, I didn't like how he threw fucking dog food at people.
Yeah, Bulldog did that to Ken Shamrock on the Raw prior to this.
Yes, I wasn't looking forward to it either.
Oh, you know you were.
Nope, you were, I know that. And you were just sitting there counting 1 chin lock, 2 chin lock, 3 chin lock, 4 chin lock, 5 chin lock, 6 chin lock. Ha 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 ha.
Sounding like the Count from Sesame Street, eh? And if you know that reference,
count 1 ha ha ha, 2 ha ha ha.
3. Oh yeah, and the Count from Sesame Street. If you know that character, you're probably an OG.
Too many.
But yeah, this match came about after an
It
arm
wasn't
wrestling
even
contest.
a match. It was just rest hold, rest hold, rest hold, rest hold.
Well, I'm just saying, this match came about after on Raw from the Raw prior to this, when after an arm wrestling contest which Shamrock clearly won, Bulldog beat the crap out of Shamrock with a steel chair and then put dog food all over him.
Well, they were having an arm wrestling contest to see who was stronger. And Bulldog was getting beaten, so he's like, "Fuck this!" Kicked him in the knee, got up, kicked him in the knee, hit threw the table at him. When he picked up the chair, bashed his head in, and then dumped the dog food.
But yeah, after both men made their entrances, Shamrock freaking started out immediately, nailing a belly to belly suplex on Bulldog. And he beat down on Bulldog all over ringside area for a bit. Then they go to the center of the ring, and then Shamrock went for the ankle lock, but Bulldog got to the ropes. And a little bit later, freaking Bulldog came back with a clothesline. Then some fists to the back and a headbutt. And Bulldog nailed Shamrock with a delayed suplex that got him a 2 count. And then he goes for the first chin lock against Shamrock.
Yes.
Which I'm like, okay. And the grin on freaking Davy's face, you knew he was up to something, right? During that point.
Yes.
He's like, what can I do to make one future YouTuber happy while the other one is miserable? Oh, I know. As soon as freaking Shamrock got out of it, Shamrock charges in, leaps over the top of Bulldog for a sunset flip. They got a 2 count, only for Bulldog to freaking counter Shamrock's momentum, and by God, he went for another chin lock. That's 2. All right.
God damn it, you're gonna fucking count it. I already fucking know.
Yeah. Yep, and then freaking a little bit later, freaking Bulldog ended up being a dick to Ken Shamrock when he nailed a low blow, but the referee didn't disqualify him at that point because, well, who cares? This match is already off the rails at this point, right?
Yeah.
Bulldog got a small package on Shamrock for a 2 count, only, yeah, but then a little later on, freaking, I think Bulldog picked up the steel steps, used them as a rep. He tried to use it as a weapon, but referee put a stop to that. Back in the ring, Bulldog freaking punches at Shamrock some more, gets Shamrock down, and what do we see? The third chin lock of the night. And, well, Shamrock's lip starts bleeding. More like his chin got burst from the most devastating rest hold ever. Right?
God, this match was boring.
Yeah.
Is it bad I almost fell asleep?
Yep, and then afterwards they fight out of it. Afterwards, they fight out to the floor, and the match ended when freaking Bulldog freaking took some of that dog food, slapped Ken Shamrock in the face with it. And then Shamrock snapped, took the container of dog food, nails Bulldog in the face with it, and that's when the referee's like, nope, I'm disqualifying you. And then afterwards, Shamrock continued the beat down in the ring with a freaking sleeper with a chokehold, which Bulldog's face was turning freaking purple at that point. Until Shamrock decided to finally let go. Right? And then that's when he choked
his ass out.
Now, I know I only mentioned 3 chin locks here, but I'm pretty sure there was 4 or 5. It felt like it. All right.
There was a lot because he kept being slapped with dog food.
So, yeah, your thoughts on this one?
Boring. Not enough wrestling.
What are you
Too
talking
many
about?
wrestlers.
What are you talking about? We seen a master freaking display of wrestling with all them rest holds. Mostly the chin lock. I gave this one was the match of the night for me. 5 out of 5 match of the year.
No.
In all reality, I did not give it that score. I'm being sarcastic. And yeah, the DQ ending fell flat, and I'm just like, wow. Okay. Okay, so be no.
As you can tell, I'm so enthused with this match.
So here's a little mental note. If you nail someone in the dick right in front of the referee, it's not a DQ, but nail him with a can of dog food. Oh, the match is over. Okay. All right.
Yes.
But, you know, it was all right, but not the best. Obviously, Bulldog and Shamrock got way better matches than this. Right?
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. I think it was Michael Cole, though. I think it was your boy Michael Cole in the back trying to interview Shawn Michaels afterwards. Michael said
First
it
of
was,
all, he's your boy.
and this was like, what, a couple months after freaking Michael Cole's debut in the company?
Yes.
And freaking Michael Cole freaking was doing this interview with Shawn Michaels. Michael said that it's like he's going to be an unbiased, impartial fellow referee, and nothing will get past the keen eye of Shawn Michaels. He says, "Yeah, sure, right."
Keen eye, my hairy left ass cheek.
And you thought the last match we just spoke about was boring? Here we talk about the next match, which I didn't particularly enjoy at all. Right?
That's your interpretation.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy this one at all. And I'm talking about the I'm talking about the 6-man tag match between Los Periquas and the Dirty Old Assholes. I mean, the Disciples of Apocalypse, or DOA, whatever you want to call it. Right?
Yes. Which, to give some context, they were created after, a couple weeks after both Savio Vega and Crush were fired from the Nation of Domination.
Yes.
Or more precisely, Farouk's Nation of Domination at that time.
Yeah, and this was all the start of the whole gang war or faction wars or gang wars in WWE at this point. Only because WCW was dominating with the NWO on the other channel at this point. Right? I mean, all of them started brawling. Skull ended up starting off against Estrada, who put him down with a bulldog. Then Skull game ban, big boot. And then he tagged into A-Balls, followed by a sidewalk slam. And then Crush came in with a back elbow. And a couple of leg drops or two.
I forgot that Estrada was a wrestler back in the day, and then he became a manager.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then Perez got in the ring, but he fell victim to a tilt-a-whirl slam to Crush. I didn't really care about this matchup. It was boring. After some exchange,
it wasn't even a match. It was a freaking car crash because everyone would interfere into the match. Freaking Savio Vega every time the Apostles of
But
Apocalypse got it.
when the dirty old assholes got the advantage and almost a pinfall, Savio Vega would always come and break it up.
Yes.
That's pretty much what it was. After some like boring action, the DOA was in control for the most part.
Farouk and the Nation come out, which was Farouk, Ahmed Johnson, D'Lo, and Kama.
Oh yeah, remember when Ahmed Johnson was in the freaking Nation?
Yes.
That made about as much sense as... That didn't really... Actually, no, that really didn't make any sense at all. That made about as much sense as Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. I mean,
How did it not make sense?
Yeah, I think hella months prior to him joining the Nation, he was feuding against the Nation for over a year. Or nearly a year at that point. Right?
Yeah, but then he decided if you can't beat them, then join them.
And then Savio got the tag in, nailed an arm drag, then goes for the most devastating move, a chin lock. Right? A chin lock in the middle of an 8-man tag match. Like, really? Right? But whatever. Prez hit a missile drop kick. People just started fighting all over the place. Tagging it out, do the quadruple team spots and everything else. I didn't really give a fuck about either of this match at all. Yeah, and then freaking Chains got the hot tag in. Nobody really cared. Not even the fans were into this. At one point, freaking Chains ended up getting hit with a Pearl River plunge by Old Man Johnson on the outside. Back in the ring.
Onto the steel concrete.
Yes. And then back in the ring, freaking Prez did nail the elbow on Chains.
Now.
Yeah.
And then they all decided to beat on each other.
Yes. Prez got the freaking... Yeah, and then in the middle of it, Prez got the freaking elbow on Chains, who got the 3 count. No one really cared about Los Barricos winning. Your thoughts on this?
I guess it was a decent, okay match.
The reason I didn't go into detail or talk about any more spots than I did, because I really wasn't even in this one. I was literally falling asleep to it. Right? I mean, the only exciting action that for me in this match was at the end when everyone just started brawling. But even then, I'm like, whatever. And of course, after the match, freaking all of them freaking just started brawling everywhere. Until freaking Crush decided to ride his motorcycle around the arena, acting like he was going to freaking goddamn run over somebody, and that's how it ended.
Yes.
I really wasn't into this 8-man tag. It was not for me. It could have been done on Raw or something, not on pay-per-view. Right?
Yeah.
And I really wasn't a fan of the dirty old assholes to start with. Right?
It was the DOA, which you could also say they were dead on arrival.
I mean, the only noteworthy people in the DOA tag team was freaking Skull and 8-Ball, who are also known as the Harris Twins, who had a run in WWE before this, back in 94, 95, and they were involved in TNA's early days, so there you go. Right?
Yes.
Up next, we see a video hype package hyping up the Owen Hart Steve Austin Intercontinental Championship match, which would end up being the semi-main, with the stipulation being if Steve Austin cannot beat Owen Hart, then Steve Austin would kiss Owen Hart's ass. Everyone should remember this one for all the wrong reasons. Right?
Yes, we're on to the Nugget.
You put some respect on Owen Hart's name, ass.
Nugget!
You're a nugget.
You're the Nuggets nugget.
You're a chicken nugget. Wait, what?
You're a fish nugget.
What the fuck is a fish nugget?
A fish in the shape of a nugget.
Huh? But anyway, Owen came out. Obviously, he was a heel in this situation and a member of the Hart Foundation at this point. So he got relentlessly booed from the crowd, right?
Yeah, this is before the whole nugget thing. I just called him a nugget because it was funny as hell.
Yeah, and then Michael Cole tried to interview Austin, but Austin didn't want anything to do with it at that point. He was getting ready for his match, about to head out, right?
Yep.
So yeah, Austin's music hit. Everyone lost their shit, right? Giving Austin the biggest pop of the night, right? And as Austin was posing in all 4 turnbuckles, Owen cut him off at the second one, went after the leg, went after the injured freaking knee, because Austin was wearing a knee brace at this point, right?
Yeah.
But then Austin came back with a Luthez press, and then nailed a corner whip onto Owen, and Owen took the freaking chest bump in the turnbuckle like his brother Brett does, where he went chest first and then falls over backwards, right?
Yeah.
Then Austin grabbed Owen by the freaking hair a few times, and then he went for a splash on the back of the middle ropes. One of Austin's signatures, but Owen Hart moved. But then Austin came back and decked him for a 2 count, right?
Oh, he didn't just go for his hair. He literally grabbed him off the mat and slammed him back. Grabbed him off the mat, slammed him back.
Yes. But then later on in the match, Owen went for a back elbow from the second rope, but Austin ended up crotching him under the ring post, so Austin is a dick to Owen Hart's King of Kings, or King of Hearts, I should say, sorry. Right?
Yes.
But Owen pulled back, and then Austin goes head first into the post. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then Owen then freaking slams Austin's hand into the ring steps, trying to weaken up Austin's hand here. And then freaking he ends up biting Austin's fingers and then trying to break that middle finger that Austin always liked to, salute people with. Right?
The 1 finger salute.
Yeah, and then a little later on, Owen Hart went for a Hurricane Rana that Austin countered into a power bomb, and then he clotheslined Hart under the outside. Owen tried to leave, take the coward's way out by getting a count out loss, thus keeping the title. But Owen chased him up the aisleway, and then freaking by nailing him in the back of the head, and then rolled him back into the ring. But then Owen came back and nailed a freaking lightning quick belly to belly, followed by a backbreaker and a leg drop for a 2 count. Right?
Yep.
And it was at this point I'm like, wow, this is actually starting to shape up to be a good match, right?
Yeah.
Then Owen went up to the top rope, hit a freaking elbow for a 2 count. And of course, then Owen started working on the neck. And JR mentioned that Austin had neck problems in his career up to this point. Maybe not as bad as it would turn out later. But, minor problems early on in his career, but not enough to affect his style at this point. Up to this point, you know what I mean?
He was also saying that Dude Love and Stone Cold were the tag team champions as well.
Which they were at this point, yes. Yeah, and then freaking Austin freaking fired back, nailed a clothesline on Owen, but Austin then tried to go for a sharpshooter, but Owen powered out because obviously no one puts freaking Owen in the sharpshooter. That's his move along with Brett's move, right? And I'm going through a lot of spots here, but, I need to really get to this ending here. Yeah, and then a little bit later on, Owen got Austin in the camel clutch, but Austin fought out of it. Austin whipped Owen, whipped in, and Owen hit a DDT for a 2 count. Right?
Yeah.
And then Owen went for a shoulder breaker, but Austin ended up locking in a sleeper. And then Owen reversed that into a sleeper of his own, but Austin then dropped down with a jaw jacker on Owen. Right?
Yep.
I'm like, okay, so it was like counter after counter at this point, and everyone's like, okay, what's this? This is a great match, right? Everyone thinks this would be the great match, possibly the match of the night at this point. Right? Then Austin climbed the middle rope, but Owen countered into a punch to the gut, followed by a neck breaker for a 2 count for Owen here. A little bit later on, Owen Hart wrapped a body scissors around Austin, using the ropes for leverage, but after a while, Earl Hebner noticed, made Hart Owen break up the rest hold. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Austin punched Owen down, and then Austin then whips him in, but Austin then went for a backbreaker on Owen, but and then we see it. Owen countered the backbreaker attempt into a sit-down pile driver, which, on commentary, they mistakenly called it as a tombstone pile driver. And that move alone broke Austin's neck. He was literally laying there in the middle of the ring. He said he couldn't feel nothing. It was scary. He thought it broke his neck. He thought he couldn't even move. He thought he was paralyzed. Austin thought he was paralyzed. Right?
Yeah.
And Owen was looking around, asking what to do. Owen ended up being the heel, antagonized the crowd to try to buy Austin time. And then Austin was able to barely move to go to the finish, which Austin then rolled up Owen with which he described as the worst looking roll up in all pro wrestling history to get the 3 count to win the match. But let's face it, there was no winner here. Right?
Well, technically, Owen kicked out, but they just gave Stone Cold the win anyways.
And let me tell you something. If somewhere that happened today, stipulation be fucking damn, the match would have been thrown out with no winner.
Yeah, look at Hell in a Cell 2019.
Ugh. Well, that was shit. The Hell in a Cell 2019 maybe that was shit, but this was a real serious, legit injury. I mean, Austin had to be carried out to the back. He could barely hold that Intercontinental title up, but at that point, no one really cared. They were just shocked. Right?
No, he walked out. He walked out on his own with the referee, but then he got stretchered out when they got to the back.
And yeah, this match would change Austin's freaking career forever because, one, he took some time off actually from in-ring competition for 3 months while his neck healed, while still appearing on TV. He had to forfeit the tag team titles and the Intercontinental title, and his wrestling style from that point onward changed to a more brawling style until the end of his career in 2003. All stimulating back from this accident. Right? So, your thoughts on this match before the pile driver spot? Oh yeah, and by the way, this is the main reason why the sit-down pile driver is a bad move in WWE, except for on rare occasions. Also, just had to add that in there.
This is also the start of I just broke your neck.
Is what Owen Hart started wearing like after this match, about a month
Yes.
later, antagonizing the feud even further into the '97 Survivor Series, which that's where the rematch would take place. That we reviewed already.
Yes.
But your thoughts on this match before the pile driver spot?
It was good for what it was.
So yeah, I mean before the pile driver spot, it was getting good. It was getting good. It was I thought it was a good back and forth match, but then the pile driver spot kind of died the mood down. Obviously, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway. So yeah, we go to the next matchup here, which was our main event for the WWE Championship, which saw The Undertaker defend the WWE Championship against Bret the Hitman Hart, with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee.
And if Bret did not win the title, he would never wrestle in the United States ever again.
You all know if Bret Hart freaking lost his match, they would have found a way to make that statement bullshit. I mean, this is WWE, for fuck's sake. They don't uphold their freaking stipulations for that long. Right? I'm just saying, WWE had that kind of reputation at this point. Well, actually, no, still does. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, if Bret Hart lost, he could never wrestle in the United States again. That was a load of bollocks. And if Shawn Michaels somehow screwed freaking Bret over in the match, then he could never wrestle in the United States again. Yeah, that was also a bunch of bull. Right? And if The Undertaker lost, well, he simply lost the match and the title. Enough said. Right?
Yep.
It's like Bret Hart makes his entrance first after showing the little hype package for this matchup. Bret Hart made his entrance first, demanded "Oh Canada" be played, the Canadian national anthem be played in the arena, which it was to a course of booze, right?
Yeah, because he's all like, "Oh, you guys listen to your national, and now you have to our national anthem, and my hatred for the U.S."
Yeah, because this was back when Bret Hart was playing a heel in the United States, but a face everywhere else. Right?
Yes.
And then Shawn Michaels, a special guest referee, came out. Thank God he wasn't wearing shorts. Ha ha.
Not that you enjoyed his sparkly shorts.
No. You enjoyed his sparkly shorts from Judgment Day 2000.
No, I know you did.
No, we know you did, and you were happy that he was refereeing an Iron Man match, so you got to sit there and stare at him for an hour.
I know you did.
Even Triple H in the back before the Iron Man match at Judgment Day 2000 said, "I hate those shorts. Those are awful." Right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Yeah, we all know that you said the opposite.
No. That was you. Anyway. Yeah, then The Undertaker made his entrance. Shawn took the belt off of Taker, raised it up in the air. A championship that he once held on 2 occasions at that point. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, Bret overpowered freaking Taker at the start before Taker could even get his jacket off. Throwing a lot of fists and a clothesline, but then Undertaker mans the battle back, nailing freaking Bret with a clothesline as Bret fell out of the ring. And then Bret ended up eating the steel railing for that sneak jump attack at the start. Right? And then again on the ring post, Shawn Michaels ended up telling told Taker to get back in the ring, but Taker just ignored him. Missed a clothesline on Brett around the freaking ring post, and then Brett ended up tossing him hard into the step. Tossed Taker hard into the steps there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then freaking Taker catches, and then afterwards Bret Hart jumps on Taker onto the floor, but Taker caught him and rams twice into the ring post, right?
Yeah.
And then Michaels kept telling him, get back in the ring or there'll be a disqualification. At that point, I don't think The Undertaker even cared about a DQ. Because The Undertaker had the champion's advantage, even though he pretty sure he didn't want to get DQ'd, didn't want to keep the title that way. But he had that advantage in this match if he wanted to, right?
Yeah.
Of course, back in the ring, Taker nailed a backbreaker for a 2 count. You can't freaking put Bret away with a backbreaker, obviously.
Yeah.
And then he put Bret Hart in a bear hug, which Bret ended up biting his way out of it. And obviously, Taker went for an elbow and a big boot. Both missed, so Bret ended up kicking away at the knees, chopping the big man down to size. Smart strategy, am I right? So yeah, Bret Hart was working on the legs now for the most part, trying to soften Taker's legs up for the freaking sharpshooter, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then Bret Hart also freaking locked the Undertaker in the figure 4 leg lock in the middle of the ring. And that's when we see the fat man, Paul Bearer, walking down the aisle. Right? And of course, The Undertaker was involved with a rivalry with Paul Bearer, who claimed that The Undertaker's brother Kane was still alive, though Kane did not make his debut yet at this point. That wouldn't be for another 2 months following this event. At Bad Blood in 97, which we also reviewed. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then The Undertaker eventually got out of the hold, smashes the knee of Bret Hart into the mat, putting Bret Hart out of the equation for a little bit. Then Taker went outside and just started beating the hell out of Paul Bearer by nailing Paul Bearer in the head. All right?
Yep.
And Paul Bearer went rolling backwards like a big giant potato. Right?
Uh-huh.
Paul Bearer fell backwards like a fat sack of shit or a big rolling potato. All right?
Yeah.
Of course, that allowed Bret Hart to come out, take advantage by going to the back of Taker's knee once again. Shawn Michaels and other officials freaking sent Bear to the back, to the dressing room. Right?
Yeah.
Make sure he wasn't a factor in this matchup, but the whole one-on-one advantage wouldn't last long because Brian Pillman and Owen Hart walked down the aisle. Possibly maybe cause a distraction. But it wouldn't have mattered anyway because eventually Owen Hart went out there and took out both Owen and Pillman on the floor before they could even do anything, right?
Yep.
So Michaels ended up sending them to the dang back, right? And of course, while Michaels was distracted, Bret Hart charged in back in the ring at Taker, but Taker caught him and nailed a choke slam. Got a visual 3 count over Bret Hart, but Shawn Michaels was paying attention to the aisleway, making sure Hart and Pillman wouldn't come back. And, well, The Undertaker got pissed. So he grabbed Michaels, which allowed Hart to roll up Taker for a close 2 count and near fall. Right?
Yep.
So, yeah. Yeah, and then freaking Taker grabbed Michaels again, yelling at him. It's like yelling at him, yeah, we got the roll-up spot here, the 2 count, right? So Taker clotheslined Bret Hart, and then Taker was stalking Michaels at the same time. And Michaels just rolled up, and then Michaels just climbed up to the metal rope talk eye to eye with Taker, trying to friggin' be like, hey, pay attention to the match. Pay attention to Brett. Don't worry about me or something, right?
Yeah.
But this allowed Brett to yank the Undertaker out to the floor and then ram his lower back into the side of the ring apron, getting the advantage once again. Yeah, and then Brett then picked Taker up to slam him back first into the post, but Michaels tried to warn him, hey, I'll DQ you some more, which Brett didn't give a crap about because at this time, personally, Bret Hart hated Shawn Michaels at this point and vice versa. That's been well documented, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit later on, freaking Bret Hart nails suplex, then a diving elbow off the metal rope. After freaking giving the fans the one finger salute, right?
Yep.
But that ultimately got him a 2 count, followed by a DDT for another 2 count. Undertaker blocked a headbutt and then dropped Bret Hart face first in the top turnbuckle for a 2 count. A lot of 2 counts in this matchup. So yeah, skipping ahead a little bit. A little later on in the matchup, Taker nailed a big boot and a leg drop that got Taker another 2 count here. Right?
Yep.
It was just back and forth action. Neither man had the advantage for so long. Bret Hart countered a freaking clothesline by kicking the top turnbuckle, and then he ended up suplexing tried to superplex Taker off the rope, but Taker slipped, but Bret Hart then went back up again, and he actually nailed the superplex. I think the first attempt was a botch there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then freaking Bret Hart then locked Taker into the sharpshooter, but after a good minute, Taker freaking broke the sharpshooter, which JR lost it on commentary at that point. Right? Saying nobody ever broke the sharpshooter. Well, that's one of the Undertaker's supernatural powers, to break Bret Hart's sharpshooter submission hold. Right?
Well, at that point, no one really did.
Exactly. Undertaker got a clothesline under Bret, but then Undertaker tried to nail a tombstone on Bret, but Bret was able to fight out of it. And then he yanked Undertaker around the post and did the friggin' figure 4 around the post, or around the ring post, which Michaels friggin' was like 1, 2, 3, 4. Bret Hart broke up the count. And of course, Bret Hart ended up grabbing a steel chair and drilled the Undertaker in the head with it. Well, HBK was out on the floor after Bret Hart took him out, right?
Well, after Undertaker, because he was doing it backwards, Undertaker broke the backwards one, which threw Bret into Michaels.
So yeah, and this is where it kind of gets convoluted here. Because Michaels freaking came back in, counted 2, Taker kicks out, I believe. Bret Hart argues with him, then kicks at Taker in the corner. Michaels sees the chair, picks it up, tries to confront Bret about it. Bret was like, they ain't doing nothing. He tries to freaking go back to nail the Undertaker with more kicks in the corner, but once again, Michaels stopped him, which this time Bret being frustrated with Michaels' constant, like, hey, did you use this chair? Right? Question. Bret ended up legitimately spitting in Michaels' face. Then Michaels then took the chair, went to go nail Bret Hart in the head with it, but Bret ducked and Michaels nailed Taker in the head with it instead, which knocked the Undertaker out. Bret Hart went for the pin, saying, hey, this is on your hands. You caused this. I didn't. And Michaels reluctantly counted the 3 count, allowing Bret Hart to win the WWE Championship for the 5th time.
Yes.
Your thoughts on this one?
It was a good match. It was decently done.
It is.
Good for the rivalries for those 3? Yes.
Yeah. And that ending is one of the most infamous endings that is still talked about today and still referenced today as well. That I've seen indie wrestlers or independent promotions perform in title matches, right?
Yeah.
And ultimately, that chair shot that The Undertaker suffered to the head, thanks to Shawn Michaels, would open the door for the Undertaker-Shawn Michaels rivalry of '97, which we all know they had their first encounter at Ground Zero a month after this, and of course their Bad Blood Hell in a Cell encounter, the first ever Hell in a Cell match, which saw the debut of Kane. Right? So yeah, I thought this match. So yeah, after the match, Michaels bailed out of the ring quickly and was like, "That's it, I'm out of here," because he knew the Undertaker was pissed. Right?
Yep.
Undertaker stumbled out of his way to the ring, possibly to go after Michaels in the back. And then Bret Hart and the Hart Foundation, with his Hart Foundation, celebrating the ring while garbage freaking got thrown in the ring. Right? To end the show. So yeah, there's our review for SummerSlam '97. So now we go on to our favorite portion of the show. Our rating system. Mankind defeating Hunter Hearst Helmsley in that steel cage match, I gave 4.5 out of 5.
4.
Goldust defeating Brian Pillman, I gave that one 2 3/4 out of 5.
I gave that a 3.5.
You enjoyed it way more than I did. The Legion of Doom defeating the Godwins, I gave that one 2.5 out of 5.
A 3.
The British Bulldog defeating Ken Shamrock by disqualification in that European Championship match. You know, the Chinlock Special. In reality, I gave that one 3 3/4 out of 5.
2.
Yeah. Like 2. Like, fuck that match. Right? Los Boricuas defeating the Dirty Old Assholes in that 8-man tag. I only gave 1 out of 5. I was that bored with it.
I gave it a 2.5.
Yeah. Steve Austin defeating Owen Hart to win the Intercontinental Championship. The match itself, this one is in 2 ratings because I didn't want to give it a rating, but if I had to, I gave it 2 out of 5 for the action before the spot, but the match as a whole, with the spot included, obviously 0. Your thoughts on that? Your rating on that?
I gave that match 4 altogether, so it was just a 4.
And of course, in the main event with Bret Hart defeating The Undertaker to win the WWE Championship with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee, I gave that one 5 out of 5.
Yep, 5 out of 5.
And my personal final grade for SummerSlam '97 is a C. Only because of the one match, only because of the cage match opener and the WWE title main event.
D.
So yeah, and if I had to recommend one show from this match, just go for the main event between Bret Hart and Steve Austin, or Bret Hart and Undertaker. Sorry. Don't watch the Steve Austin match. You'll be depressed at the end. Right?
You gotta watch it. It was a decent match.
It's just
that the ending sucked.
The ending sucked. So yeah, that's our thoughts on the 1997 SummerSlam pay-per-view event. I hate to fucking ask, but SummerSlam '97 was my choice this week, so Fuck me, I'm gonna regret this. What show are we reviewing next week? Because it's your choice next week. God damn it, I hate your damn laugh because I know what you're probably thinking.
What am I thinking?
You're thinking, I think you're thinking WCW between either 2000 or 2001. That's where I think your mind's at.
Ding, ding, ding. You are correct, sir.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You're going to make me regret a shit event.
We are going to be reviewing and watching WCW Super Bowl Revenge 2001.
You fucking dick. I can just imagine watching that shit show. I can just imagine my scores at the end of the show. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 0. Oh, 1 out of 5. I was being nice. Right?
It was a show.
Well, obviously it was a show. It was probably a shit show. You fucking asshole. I knew you were going to go there, you motherfucker. I guess he wants to watch Super Bowl Revenge 2001 next week. Jesus Christ. WCW in their dying days, that was the worst. Right?
What was your favorite?
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't, you asshole.
We all know it was.
Anyway, pray for us next week because you know what? You may look at this as torturing me, but you're torturing yourself too. You're watching it next week as well.
Oh, I've already seen it.
Oh, great. Now you're going to torture me.
Re-watching it.
Yep. Anyway, we'll see you all next week when we review WCW Super Bowl Revenge 2001. God, Lord, help me. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Deuces.